Thank you, Your Honor. What you have before you tonight is a request by staff to act as the facilitators and staff support for the application by the City of Moscow jointly with the City of Pullman, or at least in conjunction with the City of Pullman, in favor of the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport to apply for the America's Best Communities contest, which is being presented or sponsored by Frontier Communications and Dish Network. Elisa will go over the particulars of the application. Suffice it to say that it is something we've known about since last fall. Looking at the type of contest that it is, it's not a grant per se. It's not like the federal or state grants that we pursue. It's actually a contest sponsored by those two entities I mentioned to go identify America's best communities and grade them or evaluate them on a set of criteria that Elisa will go over in a few moments. The airport board was presented. Martin Urkula, who's the regional manager with Frontier, presented to the airport board and some other entities about consideration of applying for this contest. As you know, and the mayor knows and the council knows specifically, as we covered it in our budget many times over the past year, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport has a runway realignment project which has been approved by the FAA. It's an $89 million project. The match of 8.125% could rise as high as $9.2 or $9.3 million local match. That local match is something that the two sponsors, which would be the City of Moscow and the City of Pullman, have to verify or at least stand behind. So the City of Moscow has committed to $2.5 million over the next 5 years as our portion of the match. City of Pullman is in the process of making that same commitment. We're also requesting participation from the universities, the counties, universities being Washington State and University of Idaho, Whitman County, Latah County, the Port District, and perhaps some private interest as well to get that match together. As you know, the airport project will allow, if we don't proceed with the airport project, we've been told by the FAA that our exemption for commercial flights will be terminated, and we will lose commercial flights in and out of Moscow, or Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. Try to have the official name here. We've been calling it Moscow-Pullman for so long. On this side of the line, I don't want to get anybody confused. So at any rate, this would help the contest parameters, as I said, Elisa will go over. Ultimately, and there's kind of a tiered approval process in the contest. The ultimate prize, if you qualify for it, is $1 to $3 million, which would help us a lot in meeting our obligations for the runway realignment project. It does have elements that talk about values to the communities as well as economic development, so on and so forth. So again, Elisa will go forward with that. I'll talk a little bit about the coalition concept, and that is, as you know, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport Board, Mayor Lambert sits as the vice chair of that board, and Glenn Johnson, the mayor of Pullman, sits as the chairman of that board, and then we have representatives of different entities from both the Washington and Idaho sides of the line. The mayor of Pullman has indicated that he is in support of applying for this contest for the benefit of the airport realignment project. Mayor Lambert has indicated his support as well. We brought it through to the administrative committee last week. The administrative committee indicated that they were in support of it and wanted us to bring it here. Right now, Elisa, being the most experienced grant manager that we have among all the entities, will be charged with facilitating and writing the application. The application requires that as Elisa will explain in a moment, I don't want to steal too much of her presentation here, but it's available for municipalities that are over 9,500 in population and less than 80,000 in population. Both Moscow and Pullman separately and together meet those requirements. It also requires the involvement of a nonprofit entity to actually make the application. Once that nonprofit entity is identified, then the application can proceed. There needs to be a signed letter from the mayor of the municipality that's filed with the contest folks as well. So not only does a nonprofit have to move forward, but the municipality has to show that it is behind it as well. So the nonprofit entity that has consented to be the kind of lead entity on this project is the Moscow Chamber of Commerce. Gina Truscio, the Executive Director of the Moscow Chamber of Commerce, is here. I'm sure she'd respond to any questions that you might have as well. With that, I'll turn it over to Elisa. She's got a pretty comprehensive overview of the project and what it means, at least as far as staff time and community time in making the application. Thanks, Elisa.
Which is it that turns this on?
Hey, there you go.
Perfect. Okay. So I see my graphics aren't showing up yet. I guess I'll just go forward and see. There we go. I thought of the aquifer with this water on here. I thought, what a great graphic. Yeah. All right, so America's Best Communities, and this talks about the members who are going to come together to join in the contest. It's the cities of Moscow and Pullman, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, and then Moscow and Pullman Chambers, but the Moscow Chamber is the lead agency for us as the nonprofit. The America Best Communities, as Gary said, is sponsored by Frontier Communications and Dish Network, has put together a multi-stage 3-year contest, and it's to encourage communities to collaborate, and their focus is being committed to economic vitality and entrepreneurial spirit. The ABC program is called an Innovative Approach to Competition. And first I'll go over the what of it. The ABC campaign is dedicating $10 million in cash and rewards to support and inspire creativity and innovation that transforms communities and results in long-term growth. The grand prize is $3 million, and there are 27 states that Frontier provides services in that have cities that will be participating. And their goal is challenging these communities to dream big and improve lives. So again, we already discussed the where of it, and Gary discussed the populations. Smaller cities can combine to make the 9,500. We were asked, could the counties join in on this, and if we did, it would put us over the 80,000. So the Moscow-Pullman population together is a good fit for it. And again, they're wanting to focus on changing lives of the citizens in these areas. So the who that will make up the team that they're looking at are cross-sector teams consisting of local business people, change agents. I think that's kind of a new terminology in this field. So, and or local governments can compete. The lead team member must be a nonprofit, which is our Moscow Chamber. And then the application also has to be supported by 3 to 5 local businesses that will be directly benefit from this public-private partnership. And then, as Gary said, also a letter from the mayor is required. So this is our team, and we see the runway realignment project in the center, and we'll all be working together. I'll mainly be getting feedback and information from each of these agencies, and some of the questions are going to be real tight. It's like 250 words per answer. Some of them let us go 500 words. So it's a lot tighter of an answering process than I'm used to, so it'll be a good challenge. The first application is due on March 25th, and again, it encourages collaboration and cooperation among the individuals and the organizations. And again, share the same goal, increase economic development and create positive change within the communities. So, as we move into the contest, after our application is submitted, our original one, they will choose 50 quarterfinalists, and each of those will receive $35,000, and you're expected to come together with a $15,000 match. We anticipate that match will be money that the airport would be using already to work with their consultant, Mead and Hunt, but we haven't defined that clearly. We don't know if it can be in-kind services also, but before we would move forward and accept a commitment, we would have that outlined clearly and bring that forth to you. And that $35,000 with your matching funds is to develop a community revitalization plan. And really for this project, it's going to be a regional revitalization plan on the impacts of the airport. And it's not just about what the airlines do. And through this research that I've been doing while preparing to answer these questions, the impacts of the airport are a lot more than I actually realized. So it's going to be a good experience for me too. From that point, they go and they choose 15 semifinalists, and those 15 semifinalists will receive an all-expense-paid trip for 3 members to attend the summit. And it did not say where the summit is going to be held as of yet. And from that, then they will choose up to 8 finalists. And each of those 8 finalists will receive $100,000, and that is to bring their revitalization plan to life and share the plans and their story of how they got there along the way. The 3 grand prize winners will be named as America's Best Communities, and as Gary also said, there's a first, second, and third place, and that's $3 million, $2 million, and $1 million. So throughout this process of all the money they give away, it's close to the $10 million that we talked about. So ultimately, what we go through are 3 rounds, and the end result are 3 winners. The first application is due March 25th. There's 26 questions on there. Many of them are just about our area and our economics. There are 12 specific questions that talk about context and commitment, economic development, and our community identity. And then there is a set of criteria that it goes with each of the sections. So this is a diagram showing kind of the process that we're going to go through, as I just explained, the 50 quarterfinalists, then 15 semifinalists, 8, and then 3. So the first period of time from when we submit the application goes rather quickly. They'll make those announcements by April 29th. And then you're given time to develop your community revitalization plan, and then the 15 semi-finalists are announced in January of 2016. And then from there, they choose the 8 finalists, and those are announced in April of 2016. And you receive your $100,000 for implementation funds. And then from that point forward, you move on to implement the plan, and those 3 winners are selected in April of 2017. I'm just going to kind of go through this slide quickly. The community revitalization plan is focused on economic development, and within that you have to present a 6-month budget outlining the use of cash award and the community matching funds, and then also create a budget on how you would spend the $100,000. And again, our project is the expansion of the airport runway and the impact that will have on our region. As we talked about before, the 50 communities will be selected from the initial pool. The scoring criteria then for that program, for that section of the contest, is context and commitment, community identity, economic development, and vision and impact. And this just goes forward to describe a little bit more about the application process and the 3 team members. And one of the keynote factors in the directions I noticed, it says that at least half of the 15 semifinalists will come from rural communities. So that was one of the reasons that we were chosen as a Tiger II Award, is because we're a rural community. So I like that. The judging criteria, again, goes back to community engagement, long-term vision and strategy, and then short-term tactics. And then you have to implement those as being one of the 8 finalists. And they want you to make sure that you're a sustainable community. And so they go through a process of questions and answers that you have to fill out as you move through that process. The finalist round, you have to do 10 unedited raw GoPro videos. So They provide you with those GoPros, I'm sure. So they want you to document your progress. You have 3 quarterly reports that include metrics and expenditures, and then a final report capturing your 11-month time frame. And if you're selected, you also have to make a commitment to do public events, storytelling, and complete a winner's agreement. Let's see. So we're back to the very end now. Along with the first, second, and third prizes, the top winner would receive an original outdoor mural depicting the vibrancy and resiliency of the community painted by a local artist. And they said a sign identifying the city, I put as the region, as America's best community, and commit to 12 months of storytelling, including press releases, press events, and participation in other PR events to share best practices. So that is the process. And we don't exactly at this point have the full team defined. We'll wait until we see if we're one of the 50 finalists of who will work on this project with Gary and I and Gina.
As I noted as well, the City of Pullman, Mayor Johnson has indicated he's supportive of this process. But we've not received confirmation of that yet. He's attended our meetings, so I expect that we will be getting something in the next few days. But we're prepared to go ahead, and we believe that it's a good project.